You know what I mean? And this is an interesting grouping right here. We see the 20.
They're giving each other a lot of room, aren't they?
There's the That's known as the Pocono Gap right there. It's like 16 and a half feet, okay? So that's what we're going to call it. And he's like, please get me away. But you know, that shows a lot of class and a lot of professionalism from the Nascar to say, you know, I know I've only got, 15, 20 races left with you guys, but I'm going to give it all I have. Let's give it all that we have, and we can get something out of this season.
Wally, we need to give Martin Truex Jr. a striped shirt. He may need to be the referee riding here between Logano and Harvick. And actually, the drama ended quickly. Harvick drove right around these guys. That moves the point leader up to 19th. And now Mark Martin a part of that grouping from 20th on back. Truex, Logano, and the 5 of Mark Martin. So Denny Hamlin leads this race. He grabbed it away from Kurt Busch on a restart moments ago. 67 laps complete at Michigan.
Hey, I'm Denny Hamlin, and you're watching NASCAR on TNT.
.72 of 200 laps complete. NASCAR on TNT. Presented by Captain Morgan this afternoon live at the Michigan International Speedway. We're glad you're with us. Joe Gibbs Racing has been dominant of late, winning 6 of the last 9 races. It's Denny Hamlin out front today. Let's go through the field. Here's Matt Yoakum.
And Adam, you talk about 2 guys who had a great 2 months. Denny Hamlin has won 3 of the last 9 races. Out front, the first stop, no changes, but the last stop they made a slight air pressure change to try to help his exit. He says it's still a little too free late on exit. The 2 of Kurt Busch. Meanwhile, they made a track bar adjustment. He told Steve Addington, as we go, we'll learn more. The track bar adjustment made the car tight in the apex, but now we have moved our problem route to the entry part of the corner.
Casey Kane is running in 3rd in car number 9. They took 3/10 of a pound of air out of the right rear in that last stop because the car was loose. Now it might be a touch too tight. Man, hard to believe that only 3/10 of a pound of air made such a drastic change.
And the guy Ralph trying to chase him down, Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42. The science project evidently has worked. He's been pretty solid. Too free to run the top, but the car is not bad. He says the car needs a little more help through the center of the corner, Ralph.
Jeff Gordon's got his car running in 5th place right now. Still searching for grip, especially coming up and off the corners. The car is also a little tight in turns 1 and 2, Matt.
And you talk about Carl Edwards running in the 6th position, going back and forth between Bob Osborne and Carl. A lot of conversation about the entry and exit, a little too free. But he says the car has an aero push issue when he is stuck back in traffic. A little more clean air on the nose of that 99, Marty, and it comes alive.
Well, for Jimmy Johnson on the last stop, Matt, there were a couple of issues. Chad Knaus was able to fix those with an adjustment on everything, track bar, wedge, and air pressure. And Jimmy just now radioed to the team about 3 laps ago, said, guys, getting much more comfortable on this run than the previous run, Ralph.
Well, Jeff Burton in car number 31 is running in 8th position right now. He's been pretty quiet on the radio this run. He's been searching for rear grip throughout the afternoon. Now, they made some air pressure adjustments in the rear tires. The biggest problem, Phil, is that car is just not rolling through the middle like he'd like.
Ralph, David Reagan made no changes on the first pit stop. Second pit stop, they did a little bit of air pressure. He was getting a little bit too free in and to the center. Just a couple laps ago, he reported to Donnie Wingo that right now the car is a little bit too loose all the way through the corner. So they will tighten that car up on the next pit stop, Marty.
Phil, Tony Stewart hanging in there in the top 10. Remember, he took the 2 tires earlier on this last stop. He did take 4 tires. This is the car you may remember from Texas. Tony really dominated the early part of that race, got in that big wreck with Jeff Gordon at the end of that race. Right now, Tony says the car is loose, and the time's starting to fall off just a little too much to his liking. Larry?
Yeah, I've been watching David Ruderman in that 00 car. He's kind of been hanging about where he started. He started 9th. He's running 13th right now. But when you look at his last 6 races, he has gained 11 spots in the points after a disastrous start. And, you know, guys, even with 12 races to go, teams and drivers are starting to talk about points. We've been talking a lot about Casey Kane in that 9 car right now that's running in the 3rd position, has been up in the top 5 most of the race. I know he's 240 points out of the top 12, but what they have going for him is in 2005, with 12 to go, Matt Kenseth with 320 points out of the top 12, and he came back to make the chase.
Kane, a driver that is capable of going out and getting on a run and winning on successive weeks. Casey looking good today. He's third, some 4.5 seconds behind race leader Denny Hamlin.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing from Michigan, presented by Captain Morgan on TNT, is brought to you by the Home Depot, proud sponsor of Joey Logano and the number 20 team. For updated stats, news, and information about Joey Logano, visit HomeDepotRacing.com.
Denny Hamlin picking up where he left off a week ago. Victorious for the 4th time this season at Pocono. He's leading here today. Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, Juan Montoya, Jeff Gordon make up the top 5. And now we take a look at the Gillette Young Guns driver update. I told you Denny Hamlin's out front. Casey Kane having a good afternoon. Carl Edwards, one of our big movers today. There you see Ryan Newman in the top 15. And a driver that caught Wally's eye during the break, Kyle Busch, started at the back of the field today with an engine change, and he's all the way up to 14th. You see Kyle here looking for more.
Yeah, he's on a mission, as usual. He has been picking him off. His lap time's been pretty good, and I don't know what he's saying about his car, Marty, but he's going in the right direction.
Let's just say the mission didn't get off to a very good start, Wally. They actually set up for very sunny conditions. I talked to Dave Rogers about it this morning, and in fact, Kyle called him after the Truck Series race yesterday and said make the race car even tighter because the racetrack loosened up much more than Kyle thought it would yesterday. That turned out to be a bit of a mistake. So what they did on this last stop, they pulled a spring rubber from the left rear spring, and this car came to life, picked up 0.4 of a second. After they pulled that spring rubber out, Kyle said it is right on the money right now, and Dave Rogers has told him, now we're back in the ball game. Let's take it from here. Running 15th right now, but moving up to the field, Wally.
Talk about Kyle Busch being a part of the Gillette Young Gun family, and fans, be sure to visit your local Target store to pick up the new Gillette Fusion Pro Glide Razor in stores now.
Wow. Did you see that 88 car? That 88 car got so sideways. I think the 18 checked up, thinking he was going to spin. He actually lost ground. That 88 is hanging on right now. He rolls in and rolls free through the center, but when he picks up the gas, that thing is just sawing up off the corner. It's just waving as he comes up.
But he's doing it every lap, consistently every lap.
And you know what? And have driven in the past. You know how it is. It's okay if you know it's going to do the same thing lap after lap because you kind of know where you can catch it. You kind of know how far you can go. It's like some of the pit guys have said so far. When you've got a car that pushes and then is loose and then snaps and then jerks, and you don't know what it's going to do, it takes your breath lap after lap. He knows this thing's going to be free, but he can count on that.
If you're on the gas and it's loose, you can control it.
Yeah.
Because you're on the gas and all you got to do is roll out of it to give it some bite.
All these drivers going to have a chance to make adjustments when we come back. Green flag pit stops on the way. You're watching NASCAR on TNT.
Green flag pit stops underway here at the Michigan International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt Jr., as we've seen several times in the last few minutes, when an extremely loose race car, they do an air pressure adjustment. He said he wanted to clean the grill. A little bit worried about the oil temperature, Ralph.
Marty, we've got Casey Kane pitting as well. He's going to take a little wedge out to loosen him back up. He says when the sun comes out, the car gets even looser. Now, they've had temperature issues all day, too. You can see some fluid spewing out of the car, Matt, as they battle to keep this car cool.
Four leaders hitting pit road. The 99 of Carl Edwards. They're going to make a wedge adjustment on that Ford. A little further up pit road, the 2 of Kurt Busch. They're going to backtrack a little bit. Take the track bar adjustment out. They made the last stop. They made a wedge adjustment to help on entry, and also an air pressure change as well. Marty.
Matt, Jimmy Johnson leading his pit stall, said this car is just riding way too much on the right rear. Chad Knaus with a wedge and air pressure adjustment, trying to get this car to tighten up. They have not been able to get it tight, exiting the corner for Jimmy all day long, Matt.
And the 11. Denny Hamlin pulls to a stop. Look for a wedge adjustment on this car as well. He wanted a little more help late on exit. The adjustment not completed yet. The second can by Scott Wood going in. Looks like they're going to go with just an air pressure adjustment on this stop for the 11 of Hamlin. He's away.
A lot of nice looking pit stops down there just now. I mean, everybody did a really good job on their stops.
That cycle of green flag stops began at lap 88.
Uh-oh, no
problems
fuel
for
pressure.
Hamlin.
Still running. It may have picked up air in the pits.
Ooh, that's going to cost him the lead.
There goes Kurt Busch. You saw him drive by Montoya.
Now it's dying.
Okay.
Keep it.
All right. What he's basically saying, did you hear what Mike said? Mike said it may have picked up some air in the pits. That means they were all but out of fuel when they came in.